Ever feel like you're searching for something, but you can't quite put your finger on it?
Hmm.
Like a word on the tip of your tongue, except it's a feeling deep in your soul. Well, today's deep dives might just have the answer.
Oh.
We're diving into the world of Rumi,
Okay.
the 13th century mystic whose poetry continues to offer guidance and solace centuries later.
And we're not just talking about his poetry.
Right.
We'll be exploring excerpts from Book of Rumi, a collection of his teaching stories, Mystic Ruminations, which provides context and analysis,
Okay.
and Rumi, Bridge to the Soul, to see how his poetry can guide us on a personal spiritual journey.
You know, it's fascinating how Rumi's words still resonate with such power today.
Yeah.
Even for someone like me who's more familiar with Spotify playlists than Sufi mystics.
It's a testament to the universality of his message. Even though he lived in a different time and place, his insights into the human condition, our longings, our fears, our search for meaning, remain remarkably relevant.
Okay, so for those of us who need a quick refresher, who was this Rumi guy?
Rumi, born Jalal ad-Din Muhammad Balkhi, wasn't just a poet. He was a scholar, a theologian, a jurist,
Wow.
a true Renaissance man.
Really?
He eventually became a Sufi mystic, and his teachings emphasized love, self-reflection, and the pursuit of inner knowledge.
And he conveyed these teachings through his poetry, his teachings, and particularly through stories, right? Like the ones we find in Book of Rumi, which are actually drawn from his 6-volume masterpiece, the Masnavi.
Exactly. These stories aren't just whimsical tales. They're designed to make us think, to challenge our assumptions, and to guide us towards a deeper understanding of ourselves and the world around us.
Kind of like how we need stories to make sense of the world, right?
Right.
I mean, even Philip Pullman said, after nourishment, shelter, and companionship, stories are the thing we need most in the world.
Precisely. Stories have this incredible power to connect us, to create empathy, and to transmit wisdom across generations. And Rumi was a master storyteller. He takes seemingly ordinary scenarios, a parrot in a grocer's shop, a jackal trying to impress his friends, and reveals profound truths about human nature and the spiritual path.
So by diving into these stories, we're essentially tapping into this timeless wisdom, this ancient knowledge that's still relevant to our lives today. It's like finding a treasure map hidden within a storybook. All right, you've piqued my curiosity. What kind of treasure can we uncover in these stories?
Yeah. Let's start with a story from Book of Rumi that really exemplifies this blend of wisdom and storytelling. The tale of the Zoroastrian and the Muslim. It dives right into the heart of faith and free will.
Okay, set the scene for me.
Imagine a Zoroastrian and a Muslim man engaged in a friendly debate.
Okay.
The Muslim, eager to share his faith, asks his friend, "Why haven't you converted to Islam yet?" Now, you might expect a theological debate.
Yeah.
But the Zoroastrian's response is surprisingly insightful.
What does he say?
He turns the question around, suggesting that if Allah truly wanted him to be Muslim, wouldn't he have guided him already?
Wow.
He's essentially saying, my friend, your God is all-powerful, right?
Right.
So if it's meant to be, it'll happen according to his will.
Wow, that's a pretty bold response. It challenges the whole notion of destiny versus free will.
Exactly. And what I find most intriguing is that the story doesn't end with a definitive answer. Instead, the two men simply continue sipping their coffee, respecting each other's beliefs.
It feels especially relevant today, you know? With so much division and conflict surrounding religion and beliefs, this story feels like a breath of fresh air. It's a reminder that we can engage in these conversations with respect and an open mind, even if we don't agree on everything.
And that open-mindedness, that willingness to embrace different perspectives, is a recurring theme in Rumi's work. It's about recognizing the underlying humanity that connects us all, regardless of our beliefs.
So it's not about converting others to our way of thinking, but rather about understanding and appreciating the richness of human experience in all its forms.
Precisely. Now, Book of Rumi doesn't shy away from tackling these big questions.
Right.
Another story that comes to mind is the Tree of Eternal Life.
Okay.
It follows a man on a quest for this mythical tree, believing it holds the secret to immortality.
Okay.
He searches high and low, consults countless wise men, but to no avail.
This sounds like a classic hero's journey, except the treasure isn't some golden chalice, it's eternal life. So what happens? Does he find it?
He finally encounters a wise sheikh who tells him, the true tree of knowledge grows within the human heart. I believe Mystic Ruminations echoes this sentiment beautifully with the line, you've been searching for what's readily apparent, and in the process, you've given up on the real meaning of life.
It's like that saying, the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. Except in this case, the journey is inwards, towards self-discovery and inner knowledge.
Exactly. And it reminds me of that story about the painted jackal who covers himself in colorful paints, thinking he looks magnificent,
Okay.
only to be rejected by his own kind. It's a reminder that true beauty and worth come from within, not from external validation.
I love how these stories, while rooted in ancient wisdom, still feel so relevant to the challenges we face today. Whether it's the pressure to conform, the search for meaning, or the struggle to find our place in the world, Rumi's words offer timeless guidance.
And it's not just about passively reading these stories.
Right.
It's about engaging with them, reflecting on them, and seeing how they resonate with our own experiences.
Which brings us to the idea of zikr that you mentioned earlier.
Right.
I read in Rumi, Bridge to the Soul, that engaging with Rumi's poetry can be a modern-day equivalent to this ancient Sufi practice. Can you elaborate on that?
Zikr, in the Sufi tradition, about remembrance, about connecting with the divine through repetition of sacred words or phrases. Now, while we might not all be practicing Sufis, Rumi's poetry can have a similar effect. His words, with their rhythm, their imagery, their depth of feeling, have this way of drawing us in, of quieting the mind, of opening our hearts to something beyond the everyday.
So by immersing ourselves in his poetry, we're essentially engaging in a form of spiritual practice, even if we're just reading a book on the train or listening to a podcast.
Precisely. And just like traditional zikr helps quiet the ego and elevate consciousness, Rumi's poetry can help us transcend the noise and distractions of modern life, connecting us to something deeper, something more profound within ourselves and the world around us.
That makes me think of the line from Rumi, Bridge to the Soul. Every day the sun rises out of low word clouds into burning silence. It's like his poetry invites us to rise above the word clouds of our thoughts and worries and step into that burning silence where we can connect with our true selves.
And in that silence, in that space of stillness and presence, we may find the answers we've been searching for all along. It's not about escaping from life, but rather about engaging with it from a place of greater awareness and depth.
I'm starting to understand why Rumi's work has resonated for centuries.
Yeah.
Not just beautiful poetry, it's a pathway to self-discovery and spiritual awakening. You know, it's incredible how these ancient practices like zikr can still hold so much relevance for us today. It's like Rumi understood that the human heart yearns for that connection, that sense of something bigger than ourselves.
Absolutely. And he found a way to express that yearning, that search for meaning, in a way that transcends time and culture.
Yeah.
And that's what makes his work so powerful. It's
Right.
not about imposing a rigid set of beliefs, but rather about inviting us to embark on our own journey of self-discovery.
Speaking of which, Mystic Ruminations dives into the transformative power of Rumi's poetry.
It does. There's a passage that I find particularly striking. It says, "Journey through Rumi's life. Immerse yourself in his most captivating poetry and discover how his timeless teachings can transform your own spiritual path." And it's not just an abstract concept. It speaks to the very real impact his words can have on our lives.
One poem that really struck me
Yeah.
from Rumi, Bridge to the Soul, is Gone for Good.
Okay.
There's this intense line, "Do not expect your heart to return. When it dissolves in love, it is gone for good."
Whoa.
It's about complete surrender, isn't it? That feeling of holding nothing back, of giving yourself fully to something larger than yourself. It's a love that consumes you, transforms you, leaving no part of you untouched.
I think a lot of us are afraid of that kind of surrender, of letting go of control.
Yeah.
But Rumi seems to be saying that's where true freedom lies, in that surrender to something beyond our limited egos.
It's like the story of the man searching for the tree of eternal life. He was so focused on finding something external, something outside himself, that he overlooked the very source of life and wisdom that resided within him all along. So often, we're looking for answers, for happiness, for fulfillment in all the wrong places. We chase after external achievements, material possessions, the approval of others, when what we truly crave is that deep inner connection.
It's about shifting our perspective, looking inward instead of outward. And Rumi's poetry, with its evocative imagery and soul-stirring verses, provides a roadmap for that inward journey. It's not always an easy journey, but it's a journey worth taking.
It strikes me that Rumi's message is ultimately one of hope. Even amidst the challenges and uncertainties of life, There's this underlying belief in the power of love, the potential for transformation, and the importance of connecting with our true selves.
Precisely. And that's what makes his work so enduring, so relevant, even after all these centuries. It speaks to something fundamental within us, something that yearns for meaning, for connection, for something beyond the ordinary.
So as we emerge from this deep dive into the world of Rumi, I'm left with a sense of awe and inspiration. His words, his stories, his teachings, they offer a timeless guide for navigating the complexities of life and connecting with something deeper within ourselves and the world around us.
And perhaps that's the greatest gift. Rumi offers us a reminder that the journey of self-discovery, the search for meaning, is a lifelong adventure, one that can lead us to unexpected places and profound insights.
If you're feeling a bit lost, a bit uncertain, or simply curious about exploring the deeper dimensions of life, I encourage you to pick up Rumi's work and see what resonates with you. You'll be surprised at what